Hi everybody, it's Ashley Stone, Executive Regional Vice President out of Louisville, Kentucky, and just making a quick video today. Don't worry, I've got both eyes on the road as I'm making this, but oh my goodness. So I don't know how many of you guys know my story, but I just this morning was reading through an email that I sent to my upline a few years back, and it was cracking me up to reread this email that I sent to really my entire upline. It was in December of 2011, and I had sent this email to my sponsor, ERVP Cindy Peterson. I sent it to NVP Eunice Ray, and I copied EMVP Kathy Epperson on it. And at that time in my life, I had been in Arbonne for 7 years, and I was actually a district manager for 7 years in Arbonne. I came into this business, and you know, like so many of us, I didn't really see it as a business. I just saw it as something fun that I could make some extra money. And then, you know, I saw the big picture, and from the very beginning, I wanted to get to the top of this company, and I thought I was doing what I needed to do to get there. In fact, in the email that I sent, you know, I had basically, the night before, my dad had set me down, and you know, my family has a successful business, and he basically sat me down and said, you know, I know that some people have been successful in Arbonne, but you know, you've been in it for 7 years. Don't you think that maybe it's time to move on and, you know, come work for the family business? Well, I was already working there, but he wanted me to really step into a place of leadership. He said, come and really give that your all, and you know, you're making emotional decisions about Arbonne, but it's not making you any money. So at some point you have to separate business from emotion. And guys, I was devastated when he said that to me, but you know what? He was absolutely right. That's exactly what I was doing. I was making everything emotional. And if you could read this email, it's hilarious. I basically talk about how frustrated I am and how I've been in Arbonne 7 years, but I just can't get to the top, and no one wants to book for me, no one wants to join my team, and you know, just a lot of excuses and a lot of complaints. And this morning I was thinking about it, and over again I used the word frustrated, and I used to use that word all of the time. And you know what, when you look up the definition of frustration, it is the perception that things are out of your control and there's nothing you can do about it. And isn't that so interesting? Because so many times in our business we will say things like, I'm just so frustrated with my team, or I'm just so frustrated because no one will call me back, or I'm so frustrated because of this, and we make ourselves a victim because we have this perception that there's nothing we can do about it. And is that really the truth? Absolutely not, because absolutely we can do something about it, right? We can make the decision to move, to talk to more people, to go out and meet new people. But we don't do that because we want to hide behind fear, frustration, and we love the thought that there's nothing we can do about it, right? It's no different than, you know, people who say, well, I can't lose weight because it just, you know, being overweight runs in my family, or I can't lose weight because of this, or the doctor told me that it has nothing to do with what I'm eating, or you know, none of that's really true. It's just that we don't want to take responsibility for our own life and our own actions because that's harder, right? So I didn't want to accept the fact that the reason I wasn't moving forward was all on me, because that meant that I had to take a long, hard look at who I was and what I was doing, what I wasn't doing, and be willing to change that. But when I made the decision, I spoke with Kathy Epperson, EMVP, and she basically said to me, you have not been in Arbonne for 7 years because you don't really have an Arbonne business. You're not doing 6 to 8 group presentations a month. You're not getting in front of 30 to 40 people a month. So you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And when I made the decision to take 100% responsibility for my own self, for my own business, and I made it my motto to say, if it's meant to be, it's up to me. When I made that decision, everything changed in an instant. literally within 3 months, I went area. And then I became an area manager, and I stayed area manager for about 1.5 years. Again, it took me getting there, and so many times we get to area manager, we get a little comfortable, and it took me getting there and realizing that once again it was up to me to move to region, not my team, not it was not out of my control, it was up to me. So once I made that decision, I was able to go region. And then as a region, I got a little comfortable, and once again relied back on my old habits of thinking, well, it's my team, it's all these outside factors. But Tony Robbins says it's never your resources, never your resources that make the difference as to whether you're successful or not. It is lack of resourcefulness. So in other words, it's not that you don't have enough time, it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness. So you might say, I don't have enough time, I don't know the right amount of people, I'm not pretty enough, I'm not skinny enough, nobody wants to listen to me, my team, they're just not hard workers, my upline hasn't trained me correctly, whatever it might be. Those are all resources. But it's really not any of that that's holding you back. It's a lack of resourcefulness. Because there's somebody in Arbonne who had it worse off than you, right? That had no upline, that, had self-image issues, that knew no one, and they made it work. So what's the difference? The difference is they wanted it worse than you did, and they were more resourceful. They were willing to do what it took. Because when you're willing to do what it takes, nothing can stop you. So once I made that decision to do what it took, to be resourceful, to not make excuses anymore, 100%, if I don't hit a goal, I ask myself, and maybe everybody on my team quits, I ask myself, what could I have done better? Me, personally, not anybody else. What could I have done better? Well, I could have talked to more people. I could have gone out there and shared the story and painted the vision with more passion. I could have controlled that. And why didn't I do that? It always comes back to fear. But here's the thing, guys. I'm year 12 in my business. I'm in qualification for National Vice President. Do I regret that it took me a while to get it, that I had this long journey? Well, sure. I wish that I would have jumped right in to this business. I wish that I would have, hit the ground running. But do I regret my journey? Absolutely not. Because here's the thing. Most people way overestimate what they can do in a year's time in this business, and they underestimate what they can do in 5 or 10 years, right? And I made the decision that I was going to shut the back door behind me. There was no way out. I'm an Arbonne lifer, and no matter what happens, no matter how long it takes me, I will be the last one standing. Because guys, what's the alternative? Is there anything better out there? I'm not going back to the corporate world. I'm not going back to having a boss control my time. I'm not going back to having 2 weeks of vacation time and that's it. I'm not going back to that. Now that I've seen that there's something better out there, this is all there is for me. So I'm going to make it work, right? I will be the last one standing. I know that someday I will be in the top in with the top income earners in Arbonne. Now, how can I know that? Is it because I think I'm so great? No, I don't think I'm great. I think I've got a lot to learn still. But the reason I know with 100% certainty that one day I will be a top income earner is because I know that I won't quit. I know that I'm in Arbonne for the long haul. I know that no matter what, this is it for me because there's no better gig out there. There's nothing better than Arbonne. And I know that no matter what obstacles come my way, I will overcome them. I will keep moving forward. 12 years into my business and now I'm going nation. Do I wish that would have happened year 1? Sure. But you know what? I'm a better leader because of my journey. I've learned every experience, every perceived failure is just an experience to get better and learn. And I've done everything the right way and the wrong way. I know how to lead better. I'm so thankful for my journey and what it's taught me. I've grown up in Arbonne. I signed up in Arbonne when I was 22 years old. You know, I've grown up in Arbonne and really learned what it means to have a business and to, you know, to grow as a person. I mean, this is the longest I've ever done anything in my life. So I'm proud of my journey, and even with all the ups and downs. And you know what? Just don't quit. Just don't quit. But at the same time, don't give yourself, don't give yourself a life sentence. Change. Make the decision to take responsibility for your business, for your actions, and do something about it. You are not a tree. Move. Make that decision. And when you make the decision to move forward, you will be more unstoppable than you ever could have imagined. And you can't beat the person who refuses to give up. You just can't beat them, because no matter what comes their way, they'll keep getting up. They will rise again. They will rise stronger than ever. And you will get to the top of this business if you just don't quit. Don't quit before payday, because I'm here to tell you, no matter how long it takes you, and I hope that you're a faster learner than I was, and I'm here to tell you that you're 3 months from greatness. 3 months from greatness when you make the decision. Decide and make the decision to move forward. But no matter what, don't ever quit, because it is so, so worth it.